¡Ay, eres un tonto! ¿En verdad crees que él se siente en deuda con nosotros?
¡Ya basta! ¿Cuántas veces piensas decirme tonto?
¡Las que sean necesarias, tonto!
Es mi hijo.
The first question is, well, we want to know you. Tell me
Yes.
about you, Ken, the little Ken. You always like to draw when you were a child?
Yes, because in France, and the first channel have a show called the Club Dorothée, and the Club Dorothée, it was a woman who bought anime from Japan and broadcast it in France. And also, I'm half Japanese, so I quite went often to Japan with my mother, and so I was used to watch anime and read manga. And so when I was watching shows like Dragon Ball, I think, yes, Dragon Ball, Senseiya, Ranma, Maison Ikkoku, well, a lot of shows of the 80s, I wanted some figure of Dragon Ball to play with it, but my father didn't want, so I just draw those characters and cut those characters and was spraying with papers. And yeah, so because I wanted to have figure, I start to draw, and yes, I continue to draw. So I had Dragon Ball books, and I was copying, imitating the pose, and draw it on paper, and after I cut it and was playing like that. So I have drawn yes, quite of all the characters because I wanted to redo the story like that. Yeah, I was at 8, 9, I don't remember, but yeah.
You were that friend in the school that they are always drawing in the school there.
Yeah, in class you always have 1 or 2 guys or girls who the artist one, and yes, I was one of them, and yes, and I continue to draw what I like, but I don't know in Argentina you have the same, but in France you because when anime came in France for the first time, children was very happy. But fathers and mothers, what are you looking at? Because you had some violence, because of some blood, sometimes sexual sin. The girl don't have the clothes, and yes, for 30 years ago, it's not a show for children, but in Japan it was the normal shows. And yeah, so the parents have done some claims to the TV channel, and some politicians said no more manga, no more anime, because it's not good for our children, for the mental. They'll get violence. Like now, sometimes we have video games are bad for our children. Well, anime and manga is bad for our children. So the Club Dorothée had to stop the shows, and so yes, there was 10 years of TV of Club Dorothée, and they had to close. So no more anime and manga. And when anime and manga stops in France, so you have a lot of fan sub who, well, pirate the anime and do some in English or in French for people who wanted to see the other shows. And yes, and so like I said, for parents it was yes, they was watching that with a bad eye. And so also in class, in school, when you are doing art class, the teacher, when they watch what you drawing, and oh, you're doing manga, well, yeah, your idea it's not bad, but don't draw manga. It's not art. Draw something else, like I don't know, Da Vinci, Leonardo, and yes, there was like they couldn't match with the style of the manga and the anime, and so I was a bit confused because I like it. I like the style, the draw, and so I wanted to do that, and I was used to. And sometimes you have some other of people of your class. Oh, you're doing manga, okay? Like something is bad, or you don't have your own world, or your own creation, your own style. You just copying. And so yeah, so at first I was thinking, oh man, maybe I have to change the style. I have to think about a new style. And so yes, I pick up a lot of I read a lot of in France we have a bande dessinée, so French comics, European comics, and in the United States you have comics of superheroes. So I try to watch every art and to learn. But yes, so it was great to look at the arts, but people said try to say it would be better to have another style than manga. And so yeah, now when I'm looking with my age, I would say it's great to see other styles, but don't agree another style, because there are good points, also the bad, but you have to take all the good points.
Maybe because Ken, you and me were from a generation that anime, cartoons were only for children. And do you think that now is changing this?
Yes. Like you said, because in France, when you yes, most of the time anime, uh, don't say anime, more cartoon was for kids, but in Japan, um, anime was for children, for when you are middle schools, or when you are adults. You have a lot of different plots that you can like, because it's not just for one public. They try uh, to to take every audience. And in France, the big shock was Dragon Ball and the movie Akira. Akira was a big shot in, because it's proof. Oh, okay, anime can be for adults like that, and nobody couldn't imagine that. And so Akira is for that it was quite a masterpiece. And so yeah, and now when you look at 2021, and I think it's for since those 5 years, a lot of platform have appears, like Amazon, Netflix, Crunchyroll, um, Wakanim, a lot of them. And now you can watch anime in one click with subtitles, and that's amazing. It's proof that the mentality have changed, and now most of the big companies, American companies, want to produce some anime, put their money, and because they want to produce and even have their own original anime for, or you can just watch this anime on Netflix.
Yes, a lot of company, they are making their own anime. And again, is there any manga or anime that serves to you as an influence to be dedicating yourself to animation?
Yeah, well, Dragon Ball was quite big, and um, the first great impact also I had in animation was Princess Mononoke. I was 9 when I saw it, and it was quite scary because you have like big animals, but sometimes monsters, we can say. And but the backgrounds were so beautiful, the music also, and it was very strange for me, and I was just wow watching that. And another show, Evangelion. Evangelion, when I watched that, I was 10 or 11, and it was impressed because yes, it was very serious, and the the show had a very particular mood that you cannot describe, and you have to watch it with the movie, also the end of Evangelion. And in manga, so yes, I was Dragon Ball, also a lot of uh, Takahashi Rumiko. So she made Ranma, Maison Ikkoku, Inuyasha, and I love Full Metal Alchemist, uh, and JoJo. Yes, they are quite from like maybe mainstream, but they had a huge impact on me, and they want to yes to to work in Japan animation industry.
And then you told me that you were born in France and you were there, and then now you live in Japan. In Japan.
Yes.
So
So my mother is Japanese and my father is French, but I was born and raised in France, and so I had some. So I went often to Japan with my mother. Maybe I don't remember, but 2 in 3 years I went once for summer vacations to see my family, and so I used to speak Japanese with my mother, but I didn't never learn quietly Japanese because I was a bad child. I didn't wanted to study, and so yes, now I'm living in Japan, and since 2015. So now it will be 5 years. Yeah, so now it's 5 years. So in the end of this year, it will be 6 years. And yes, but yes, now it's like 5 years is quite a lot.
it's a lot. And how was the adaptation? Because I think that French and Japan have the different cultures.
Yes, and that's why I was not, how can I say, I didn't have this homesick because, well, I used to went to Japan, and so I was used to the culture, but just the culture of family. I just to know how to speak with my family, but didn't know uh, what the language of work. Because when you have a boss, when you're talking with your coworkers, you will not talk with like he's your mother, father, and so it will be 10 years ago. I have done my first internship in telecom animation film. So they have made the movie Castle of Cagliostro, the first movie of Miyazaki-san, and so it was my first contact as an intern in the Japan animation world industry. And I had the great chance that it was a good experience because it was in 2011, and in Japan there was the big earthquake, and so the studio managed to still to do the internship with him, and so I was very glad about that. And also because it was very difficult to do an internship in Japan because they don't have this culture of internship. And so I sent a lot, more than 20 mails, have 5 answers, and just 1 yes. So yes, so when you send a lot of mails, you just have 1 answer, you don't want to give up for just an earthquake. So you want, yes, definitely to go to Japan to had this experience. So I
And
went to Japan and I spent 3 months of internship over there. And so it was 2 weeks of training, and the rest was I was working on productions. And my first production was on Lupin the Third, and it was a TV special. The TV special was named to Eternal Mermaid Chi no Kokuin. Yes, and so this internship was great, and I could meet a lot of veteran animators. Yes, I could meet Tomonaga-san. Tomonaga-san is a Japanese animator who animate. I don't know if you know Batman. Batman, the animated series of the 90s, and he had animated this opening.
wow.
So, and I watched this show, and I like Batman of the 90s. Wow, I was so impressed to meet. So yeah, most of the time when it's your first contact, you are always impressed. Oh, this man. Yeah, I also met Otsuka Yasuo. Otsuka Yasuo is a bit like the mentor of Miyazaki-san. He's his senpai, and yes, you met a lot of people, a lot of the story of Japanese animation you met. And it was great, and because of this first experience, it was very good to me. I wanted to try again, so I have done a second internship, and I didn't do it at Telecom. I wanted to have another experience, to try another studio, to see if it was different or not. And so my second internship was at Satellite, and it was different because the mentality of the studio was more colder against the animators. You have to be faster, more productive. Yes, so I can say they didn't care much about the health. They had to deliver the episode, so all the deadline is here. Okay, I'll have to do some sleepless night to finish it. So, but it was also a good experience to see that okay, different studio are different. So, if I want to work in Japan, I have to quite choose. Taking a lot of information before to choose which studio I want to work with, because yes, it's important to have a good working place, and that are not going to push you too much, because health is important. But when you are young, you think, oh, it's okay, I'm young, but you have just one health, so you have to take care.
It's a difficult work to make animation.
Yes, it's because it's teamwork. You cannot do an anime just one guy. Well, sometimes you have monsters who can animate one episode, and we call them monsters or one-man army. And sometimes you see on the credits key animators, one name. Okay, Okay, but he have just do the key animation, so you will have people who will clean his poses and do the in betweens, do the color. After you do have to do the composite, so you may have one key animator can do all the movements, but they are called super animators. That they are, and there's just a few of them, but you cannot produce an entire show of 12 episodes with one guy. It's a teamwork. Sometimes you have to you have very good animators and animators who still learning, so you have to adjust that. Because in Japan we have less and less animators, and so you have to do what you have. So you have, okay, maybe put the animators who have less experience to do easy cuts, and put the veteran on difficult cut. You have to find a good balance with that. And if you don't have much animators in your studio, you have to take some see other animators who are working as freelance. Most of every animators in Japan are working in freelance. But if you are working in a studio, the studio can fee you a fixed salary. But if you are working, you are not working for a studio, you are paid by cut. And if you are paid by cut, yes, I don't know what is the money in Argentina, but in one cut in Japan is 4,000, 4,000, yes, 4,500. So if we do that in euro, it's at last 37 euro for one cut. And so we can set 40 euro. We don't say 40 euro, and 40 euro for one cut. One cut can take you like 1 hour or 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. So yeah, difficult cut. You can also negotiate the price of difficult cut. Okay, can you put the price of this cut twice, please, because it's a difficult cut, because one cut can be 1 second or like a 20 second. Yes. So
Wow.
yes, if you have to negotiate the price, but most of the studio will say nothing. So you have to ask, please, can we negotiate the cut? And if they say no, but okay, I don't want to work with your show. And if it's say yes, okay, so it's good. So
And
yes, sometimes yes, you have to negotiate. But to negotiate, it's difficult because if they don't know you, well, they don't know what kind of quality you can give. So they don't want to raise the price. But if they know, oh, you are the famous animators who have done this scene, okay, let's put the price, because they know that you have a good reputation by other studio, and you have delivered the cut in time. So yes, we can increase the price for you.
in your experience, Ken, is more difficult to animate action scenes or maybe dialogue with a lot of characters?
Actually, the two are quite difficult because so action scenes, you have to think about the camera work, how the character will do some cool posings, the choreography of the fight, and so you have to look a lot of reference of art martial, of people who doing karate, kung fu, and to learn some poses to put in on animation to have more credibility for for the audience who look, oh, he have done this feast of Bruce Lee, yeah. And so it takes time because you have to find reference, and also you have to think about the choreography, the movement of the camera. But it is fast, so most of the poses are um, are not the same each so if the size is, one can say, the size of character is a bit different, you will not notice it. But when you're doing acting, the acting is little movement, but you have, it's just like little movement like this, but if there's something that get bigger or little, you will just, oh, the eye have get a little big, or the hand, the yes, the finger gets a little, you because it's not a movement, it's each frame you have to draw it at the same sizes, and it takes times, and you have to be at the model, and those little difference you can see it in acting, but in action cut you will not see it that much. Well, if you put pause, yes, you will find it, but animation is yes, good animation, if you put pause, is if you see a good frames, but you have to think also that you have also in betweens, and in between is this transition of to keyframe to a keyframe. And animation is something you see it in the movement.
How is the animation cake process? Tell us that I and a lot of people don't know how is the magic happen.
Okay.
They send in the script and they give you freedom to adapt, or they tell how.
Okay, so I will speak about the process a bit. So let's take, we have this manga. Let's call a manga A. Manga A have a public audience, and it's quite getting famous. And okay, the committee of production, let's do an anime for this, for increase the sale of this manga A. Okay, so in this committee you have at least 5 peoples. So you have the TV channel who will broadcast the show, the music who for the opening and the endings, the marketings who will do some goodies, and the after and the publisher of the manga, and maybe you will have the studio, but most of the time you don't have the studio, so you have the 4. And so in this community they put the money. So when a manga have a good hit, and the people who put the money will receive the reward. So if the studio isn't in the committee, the studio will receive nothing. But if the studio is in the committee, well, he will receive the part he have. If he have put 20% of for the production, so he will receive 20% of the reward. And so okay, the committee production, okay, we put this amount of money to put this to make this show. And if we ask to a studio to make the animation, and we find the studio B will make the production of manga A. And Studio B will check the manga. So we'll first, well, the story is done. You have just to adapt the manga. So you have to okay, so the first season will be a 12 episode. You have to do the storyboard. Storyboard is like a little comics with technical notes, has the movement of the camera, of what kind of movement the character will do, some sound effects. It will be the structure of the one episode. And when the storyboard is done, you have to do meetings with the animators. You have to know that you have one director for the series, but for each episode you have different director. So maybe so you have director we call a general director, and general director we have little captains. So captain of episode 1, but captain episode 1 may also do the episode of episode 10. It's a rotation. So captain of episode 2 may also do the episode of 11. And the general director will do a meetings with those captain, as the captain will do a meetings with his animators. And so after, the studio have to find some animators. Well, they have their own animators, but they need more animators. So sometimes they contact, as maybe me. I receive an offer by Twitter. Most of the time is Twitter or by email. And we have this show, this adaptation of manga A. Would you like to work on it? The schedule is that, and the price of the cut is that. And so if my schedule fit with them, so okay, let's work on it. So I do my meeting. Well, at first I choose the sequence I have to do. And sequence is sequence can be like 3 cuts, or like 11 cuts, or 30 cuts, or yes, it's like depends on cut you choose. So they let you choose, and okay, I will take those 11 cuts. And so we're doing the meeting with the director of the episode, and it take like 30 minutes. And so now I have to do so the director will tell me what he wants, what kind of animation he would like. So after the meeting, you do your layout. So layout is the rough animation. So you have to know that key animators in Japan have to also draw the backgrounds, do the animation of the characters, and also do the animation of the FX. FX is water, fire, lightning, smokes. Everything you have to do it by hand drawing. And after you have do the rough animation, you send it back to the director, the director of episode. He will check it. Oh, the arm is too low, put it more higher. The expression is great, but add more tears, like that. And after he had put his correction, it will go to the sakkan. The sakkan is mean animation director, and the animation director will put the character on model. So if you see good drawings on the TV, it's because of the animation director, because of the animation director check each cut and correct each cut. And you have to know that one episode is around 350 cuts. And if it and you put at least maybe 2 or 3 animation director, and they will check each of them 100 cuts. And so they will put on the model of each poses. If they could check each poses, it's great. But sometimes you don't have time, and so they can correct just one pose, and after it's for the key animator to redraw each pose. But if sometimes you don't have the time, they couldn't check it, and that the key animator have to do it himself. And so after you receive the correction, it's to the key animator to redraw each frame in the perfect quality, as putting all the shadows, all the lightning, all the details of the characters, or maybe all the how they say, the all the details of the sword, of maybe all the lightning, of the volumes. You have to draw it. And if after you have finished that, you send it back your cut to the studio, and they will do the cleanup of each frame and the in-betweens, and put the colors, and after Coraz put on the post production, and so put on layered animation, the background, the some maybe composite effects, and yeah. And after you have to put the music, and takes times. Now you can see that for one cut for doing one cut to completely, you have five person who work on it.
Now I know why there are a lot of credits in each episode of an anime.
Yeah.
And again, how long does it take from the moment you or the team finish the first animation, maybe the first episode, until it airs on television?
Actually, it's not finished. You broadcast it, and when the broadcast have started, you still making the episode. So when I was working on Hiroaka, I was watching. When I sent back my cut for Hiroaka, it was I don't remember which episode was it, but what the broadcast will be the next week. Yeah, so you have to be in hurry to do it, and so yes, if I screw up, well, the broadcast can be in danger. If the broadcast, yes, if you fail to deliver the episode, the studio have to pay commission to the TV channel.
And you, the K animation, the K animators, have to do, I know how to say it, the Blu-ray have another sense or a correction of a sense sometimes. Is it your work too?
Yes, it's called DVD retakes.
Yeah, yes.
As freelance, you don't work on it, but if you are working at the studio, you may. Well, when I was doing my internship, or no, even if I was working at as a in-betweener in the Graphinica, you have a DVD retakes, and you have to sometimes redraw the eyes because the eyes was why bad. And sometimes, for this cut we have to redo everything. So yes, yes. So it's a yes, it's when you buy a DVD, you have a better quality.
Yes, and
Maybe because sometimes the studio don't correct them and put like that because they don't have time to do the DVD retakes.
and well, I want to know how does the Dragon Ball proposal came to you? Because I think that in France and in that part of the world, Dragon Ball is a huge franchise.
Yeah. Well, actually, when I was working at the studio Yapico Animation, I have a senpai that wanted to work on Dragon Ball Super, the series, and we have a Japanese senpai called Shimizu Hiroshi-san. He's the character designer of Megalobox, and he had work on Dragon Ball Super Restriction of Freezer, and so he had a contacts of Toei, and he put us on contact with Toei. So we met the guys of Toei, and they asked us to work on one episode, and if this episode was good, they may ask us to working on a movie. And so they proposed us one storyboard for an episode when Vegeta and Goku was fighting on, I don't remember the guy. It was a bad guy, and but it was the end of December, and most of the French people were going back to France to spend the holidays with their family. So we said that our schedule couldn't match if it was possible to work on another episode. And so Toei didn't propose us another episode, they proposed directly the movie. Oh, by the way, do you want to work on this movie? Sure. And at this time when they proposed the movie, they didn't say that was Broly. So I walk on Dragon Ball Super Broly without knowing that it was Broly. I just was working on Dragon Ball movie and doing, yeah. And also it was the first time I was working on Dragon Ball, and also the first time I was working on a movie. So it was a lot of pressure.
Yes, but and I know before the proposal, of course, do you know Dragon Ball? Do you know what is Dragon Ball? The big, I know the massive anime and manga.
Yes, it's a massive manga, and like I said, it's I grew with the Dragon Ball, and yeah, it's very famous show that a lot of people like. And so yes, and what is good with animation, it's when you can walk in show you like, it's very powerful on you. And so you're putting the music of Dragon Ball, chala hey chala, and I was sleeping at the studio, but I yeah, but it was cool because I working on Dragon Ball, and right now also I yeah oh yeah, I work on Dragon Ball. I yes, it's something. If I again had the occasion to work on Dragon Ball, I will say yes. Yes, I would like to draw a Kamehameha. So
Of course, it was great. And what do you feel when you see your animation, your sense there in the cinema? Did you went to the cinema?
yes, I went to the cinema to watch it, and the screen was big. It's not a little TV, not on your smartphone. It was yes, it was big, and the sound also was quite big, and wow. But when you animate, you see your own animation, and you cannot be satisfaction by your animation, because you know all the little default, what it's bad, or I screw up here. I would, if I had more time, I could do it more better. And now when I animate that, it was more now for 3 years ago, and now I hope I will. If I redo it, I will do it better, I think. So yes, you. Yeah. Now, when you see some past animation you have done, you see only the this is not good. This isn't good. I should do it more better.
I think that your part was very good. Is why the people who work there was excellent workers, excellent animation. You were there because you were good, or you are good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I try to do my best and to progress, because I'm just 5 years in the industry, and now I'm 31, and 31. Actually, I have my senpai, and his experience in the animation is 31 years. So it's my age, and yes, you cannot imagine the level he have. I'm just a baby.
And again, when your friend told you something when you said to him, "I know I'm going to work in Dragon Ball Super and the movie."
Well, I couldn't say at this time that I'm working on Dragon Ball. I had to wait the first trailer, and yeah. So for most of the people, most of my friends who know Dragon Ball, they was yes, they whoa, it's amazing, and yes, they because yes, they like Dragon Ball also, and so seeing a new movie of Dragon Ball, yeah, you're happy. After, I don't know, because if you Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Super, yeah, a lot of people prefer maybe the first Dragon Ball, and they have not so much attached with Dragon Ball Super, but it's Dragon Ball, so yeah.
You have to animate Goku, Vegeta, Bulma. Is there
Yes.
any character more difficult to draw?
Actually, Goku and Vegeta was quite difficult to draw because about the hairstyle, and also Akira Toriyama style is very different because all the expression is very narrow and big head, ears always like that, and especially the Goku hairstyle, if his profile in front, it is always the same. And you have how to find the volume, the relief, how he turn. Yes, it's difficult, and yeah, the Dragon Ball style isn't. You recognize it directly. So yes, and the proportion of the face, the face, the art is very cool, but it's not realistic. So you have to draw it a lot to fit to the characters, and yes, it's take times.
How much time it takes to you to draw, to animate this sense?
So the layout I had 1 month to do it, so it take 1 month to have. And also, what, like I said, it was my first time, my first movie. So if I screw up, no, I have to do it well. And so yeah, maybe if I redo it, I will be more faster. I don't know.
And it was excellent. And it's a different work or different animation to work in a movie and an anime TV series?
Yes, because in anime, they don't well, in anime you have less time, so you cannot put all the quality you would like. But for a movie, you have the time and you have more budget, so you can take more your time to animate the scenes. Or at least one cut is a bit twice or 3 times the price of a normal cut of an anime series. And so yes, and also most of the famous good animators are just now working on movies because you have better budget and better schedule. Oh, sorry, schedule is planning.
And for you, do you prefer, I know, drawing persons like it or monster? Like maybe it's more funny. I know.
I think never animated monsters, and yeah, I prefer animated characters. I I like to watch mecha animation, but I don't want to draw a mecha because I know that I'm going to die for each frame. When I hear that my senpai have to do 1 day for 1 frame, yeah, no, never. I don't want to work on mecha because it's you don't have much money.
It's a lot of time, a lot of work. And
Yes.
tell us again, and now, what are you doing now?
Actually, I'm working on a movie for Studio 4C. Sorry, I cannot say what is it because it's not yeah, it's not announced. And so yeah, and now I'm working on this movie for at least 2 years now.
Always a movie had a lot of time of planning.
Yes.
Wow, 2 years. And well, when did you draw the animation of Dragon Ball Super?
I animate on January for the layout, and the second step then again for when I have to redraw each frame with the shadows and lighting. It was on August.
So 6 months before to be in cinema.
Yes, something like that maybe.
And well, to finish, if you say some words to the people who are here and love and really love your work in a lot of anime and in this movie in Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Thank you for enjoying my animation, and hope you will enjoy in the future also. I try to do always my best and to grow as a good animator, and to give you more good animation in the show you likes. And yes, please enjoy it. Thank you.